Hey guys, Untitled Chapter, your guide and mentor, back with a brand new video. Today, I want to bring up the subject on credit repair and how long it takes to actually fix your credit. And I know that a lot of people get impatient, they lose their mind and they're confused as to what's exactly happening behind the scenes. So I do want to bring up that topic today. I do want to go ahead and share exactly what the procedures are that we go behind the scenes and do for you, as well as some other credit repair companies. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and debunk some of the myths that you may have about some of these companies in reference to, okay, whether or not they're actually doing a good job or whether or not they're actually following up with what they said they're going to do for you, as well as a couple of other things that are may have left you in limbo and you basically want some answers and clarity. Okay, so this is going to be the episode that we're going to be discussing this and hopefully giving you some sort of clarity and explanation as to what goes behind the scenes. So the first thing to understand is when you're starting your credit repair journey, when you're starting your process, we have to go ahead and obtain your credit reports. Now, I know a lot of you will possibly go into Credit Check Total, log in, get the details from that, and send it to us in reference to looking at that and going based on that information, and that's perfectly normal. So that is what we do first. Another thing you need to realize is, if I were to give and break you the timelines, the first 30 days is typically a discovery phase for us, right? So most credit repair companies, what they'll do is they don't explain this up front. They don't explain the reality of what goes behind the scenes. They don't explain and give you reasonable expectations in reference to what goes on in terms of working with your file and how we have to do it and the legalities behind it, right? So the first thing you want to know is that, like I said, we work off your credit report. So you obtain that credit report, you give it to us, and then we start working with that right away, and we proceed from there. Now, the next obvious thing is what we call a discovery phase. Now, the discovery phase happens from the moment where we receive your credit report, and then it's actually sent out from our behalf, and representing yourself as a credit repair company for us to the credit bureaus. Now, it's not just the credit bureau. Sometimes we actually have to go and tackle collection accounts, and that means dealing with collection agencies directly. Sometimes certain information is reporting that's not accurate at all, and that requires us to go ahead and open an investigation with the original creditors, right? And I don't mean just dispute letters. That's really holding them accountable in a legal sense as well. So that requires some sort of authorization, some legal background, some government agency if necessary, some business agencies, Secretary of State to Attorney General's office to even Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to the Better Business Bureau and many others. So there are a lot of things that we need to do on that reference. So if we know from the get-go that we see a credit report that's pretty much like a little bit troublesome, meaning there's about 15 negative items or so, we know the process is going to take a while. Now, some people get lucky. They send out this template called the 609. A lot of people use that. It works, but not all the time, right? So in most cases, it won't work if you're trying to attempt this after, let's say, you've gone through some individuals or you tried it yourself, and now you're actually trying to fix your own credit, and you're able to do it. It's just that it takes longer. So this is why possibly you're coming to Best Credit Resources and you're asking us to help you. Now, in that situation, what happens now is you have to understand that we start from the very beginning, right? So yes, at times you're going to get letters back stating that, oh, this item's been already investigated. We're not going to do it again. We don't have to under the FCRA, and that's completely bogus. By law, they're supposed to investigate. It's their duty to do so. If they don't, then they're liable for it for punitive damages, financial damages, and a whole lot of other things. So they have to investigate. Now, if they give you that generic response, then that's what we call the discovery phase, right? It's the time where you send out a dispute, or we send it out on your behalf, and we start working with our legal due to make sure that the items are removed and your credit report's rectified. So within the first 30 days, you're going to get responses. And that response is what we call the discovery phase. It's either some of these guys are going to say, look, we've already investigated you before in your file, and we're not going to be doing it again because we're allowed not to, which is complete bogus. Like I said, in that case, we actually step in and enforce more power over them, right? So that's the discovery phase. Now, a lot of people get discouraged from this because, I explained this when another video on my YouTube channel in reference to, okay, what if an item comes back verified? What happens then? What do we do? What's the next steps? And then I explained to them that, look, it's a procedure that we have to take, whether we have to ask them, okay, well, what kind of substantial documents did you have to kind of bring this account's existence, that it's a reality, that's verifiable. So we go ahead and ask for compliance information. In that case, it could be the way that they're reporting, what kind of software they're using. Typically, They can use Metro 2 software, the way that they're doing it. They contact the creditors and then they give back a verification form, automated dispute verification form. Those are very much computerized, right? So there's a lot of loopholes that can be completely non-compliant. But past that discovery stage, that's where we headed towards the 60-day cycle. We're going to go ahead and investigate all sorts of other things. Now, we're going to say, okay, well, if we got a letter from, let's say, Experian that says, okay, well, we're not going to reinvestigate based on your previous disputes, and we're allowed not to, and we question that. We say, well, okay, well, if that's the case, behind the scenes, we're going to ask them, well, what have you done exactly? How did you verify this? Can I see the documents to verify whether or not, you're CROA compliant, whether or not you actually have documents at hand, whether or not you follow procedures the proper way to make sure that you do a reasonable investigation. There's many case laws and court cases that are actually demonstrating that the credit reporting agencies are being very negligent in terms of how they investigate certain items. So, these are the things that we go on. And then, on the 60-day cycle, typically some of the items will come off. If they don't by all, like they're going to start taking some off and saying some are verified. And it's just a question of, proceeding with what we have in terms of correspondence. And it's really knowing exactly how to play the game the right way. It's really knowing exactly what your legal rights are, the legalities of reporting and how they report, understanding exactly what the creditors are respectively allowed to do with the credit report, as well as what the credit reporting agencies are allowed to furnish on there in terms of verifiable information and the accuracy of the information that's there. So you have to work with that. So like I want to bring back to the point where a lot of people get discouraged from the get-go, right? They start the credit repair process, whether themselves or with a company like us, and then they see responses in the first 30 days and they get discouraged because they say, oh, we can't look into this anymore. Well, it's just a discovery stage. It means that we're just looking at it and saying, okay, well, what are they going to say from, what are we going to create our path on, right? What are we going to be creating our foundation on? If we don't have any response like that, then it's kind of difficult for us to, dictate how the course of our credit repair process is going to be. So the discovery stage is very critical. Well, albeit, sometimes it's all like, oh, we can't investigate this because we've already done it before, to the point where they say, okay, well, we're going to remove some items and here are the ones that are staying. And then we continue from that. We continue the conversation from that. Now, all the other things, the schematics of who are we going to use to report, what kind of government agencies we deal with, what kind of legal procedures we use, including court injunctions if we have to, get an attorney at hand, go and say, look, these guys are negligent. It's been over 4 months, they're not fixing my report, and then getting the court injunction to make sure that that doesn't happen, as long as you have the legalities in place. And then you pursued with a court injunction. So there's a lot of different ways of doing it. Of course, Best Credit Resources is here to help you with all that and more. So again, thank you for visiting my channel, looking at this video. This is Ali Taraftar, your guide and mentor. There's a series of videos right here. You can look at them. They created playlists for you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Keep the notifications on so every time there is a brand new video, you'll be first to be notified. Saturday mornings around 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern p.m. We got finance talk. So I want to see you this Saturday. I'm going to be talking about a couple of things that I feel would be of interest to you. So I look forward to seeing you there, and hopefully you'll be joining me. Okay, so again, Ali Taraftar, you got a mentor. Bye for now.